Welcome back to Relic Motors, everybody. Today, I've got this piece of paper here that says I'm supposed to be working on something. I don't know who wrote that. I wrote that. We have a 1966 Volkswagen Beetle, aka a bug, in the shop. Belongs to a friend of mine / a client. It's got an oil leak, so it's functioning as Volkswagen should. Also states that his brake feel is a little soft, so we're going to check that out. But I want to take it for a test drive, see what I hear, see what I feel, see if I can pick up on anything else. I presume that it will probably need valve adjustment. We're going to do an oil change, definitely. So yeah, we're going to get out there. We're going to drive it around. We're going to enjoy the privilege of being able to drive somebody's very nice 1966 Volkswagen Bug. Let's go check it out. Well, there she is. Pretty cool little bug. Pretty clean, pretty clean. 1966 was the last year of the encased headlights. Following years, 67 through 79, they were just exposed. They didn't have these cool screens on them, and that was due to US import laws ruining all the fun. Pretty good looking bug. Very clean. Got the 66 plate on it. It's pretty cool. 1300 cc's, you can tell because it says. Pretty good looking. Now, first things first, we're going to check the oil level here. We are a little bit on a slope, so the oil level is going to be generous. That doesn't stay. That should stay. Maybe that's something we'll work on later. I'll just put that right there. She's got oil. It's a little dark. Might be a little low. Double check that. A little low, but she'll run. I'm just going to check for anything that stands out before I start it up. It's got the OG airbox on it. That's really nice. Just a good looking stock 1300 Volkswagen. Oh, that's really cool. It's got the sound deadening / insulation still in the engine bay. That you do not see a lot. Vacuum lines look in good shape. Linkage is in pretty good order. It springs in a little bit of an odd place, so that's all right. Okay. Belt feels good. Now, he did say he was having a little bit of a hard start issue the other day. No, that could be fuel. That could be points. We'll find out. Okay. Doing our best with the old camera angle here, but let's see what we can do. Okay. Oh my god, this guy sits so far back. The owner's shorter than me. That's a little odd. Oh, it's stuck. Well, that's where it's going to be. Okay. Good news of the day. The parking brake works. All right. She's in neutral. Let's give it a couple little squirts of fuel there. All right. Battery sounds a little low. She's not wanting to start. I'm going to jam a little bit of chem tool back there. See if we can get her to kick over. All right, we've got our B12 here, sprayed it in the intake. We'll see if this gives us a little bit of juice. Come on, baby girl. So right away, I'm thinking this guy probably need to adjust the points, clean them up. Probably with points ignition, you can clean them up, but you're only gonna get maybe one or two good cleans out of them. They usually have this coating on the points, and when you file them enough, which is pretty much right away, that coating gets removed, and your points are just going to foul faster and faster every single time until they're just like that. So we'll keep trying to start this thing a little bit here, and if she keeps giving us a hard time, we'll just go ahead and pop that distributor open, see what we can see. Come on. Oh yeah. Yeah. You want to. Yeah, you want to. Run this battery low. That could be part of it too. Come on. There you go. Come on. Come on. Come on. These old girls, they really don't like it when you don't give them attention. When you don't give them attention, they get a little cranky. Well, so it goes. Into the distributor we go. Let's do it. All right. I wish I had a better camera angle for you, but seeing as I gotta use my head. Okay. Instead of using my head, I'm gonna use my head and try and get this to stay up. Oh, we're having problems, folks. Here we go. Okay. Well, it might fall on me. It's fine. It's fine. Let's pop this off. There we go. All right. Well, right away, looking at a lot of, as Luke Skywalker would say, carbon scoring in here. You're going to have a hard time getting sparkulators out of that thing. Okay. Let's take a look at this rotor. Not looking great, my dudes. It is carboned up, looking a little gunky. Makes it tough for the electric juice to get through there. How are these points looking? Set this down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Real toasty. Real not good. That's okay. We are going to clean all this up and we'll get it running good enough to go get another set of points. This baby won't start until we get that cleaned up. That's for sure. Now, I've long been a proponent of keeping things very original as possible, and I still am. However, I ran points on my bus for a very, very, very long time. Something to the effect of about 15 years. And I had a Pertronix unit in it at one point in time, and it failed. So I kind of got a bad taste in my mouth about electronic ignition. However, I put a set of, well, I put a brand new Pertronix flamethrower distributor in it. So it's the whole thing plus the guts. Actually costs you less money just to get the whole distributor. Put that inside my bus, and I will tell you, that thing has never ran better. Never ran better, and I couldn't be happier with it. So shout out, come on, shout out to Pertronix, because that thing rips. If you're driving a vintage Volkswagen, you have not converted to electronic ignition, I recommend it. That being said, I'm not going to throw any shade at you for keeping your points ignition, especially if you're running like a, you know, a very deliberate period piece. That's totally cool too. And I like that stuff. But if you're going to be driving this thing fairly regularly, it wouldn't hurt to throw a set of electronic ignition in there. Come on, baby girl. There you go. There you go. And she slides right on out. It's a little sticky in there. Might be affecting our points opening and closing effectively. We'll clean that up, make sure everything's lubricated properly. There is still a little bit of grease / lubricant on the rotor in here, which is nice. You want that so it doesn't wear the points out prematurely, so it's not just dry in there. There's that advance feel. Oof. Oof. Real slow in there. It could be worse. Could be worse. Let's get this cleaned up. See what we can do. So let's see if I can get y'all to take a look at the inside of that. Those posts right there send power through to the plug wires and out the plug. So you can see there, real dirty, real carboned up, not good. Us professionals would describe that as bad. So we're gonna do our best to clean some of this stuff up and see if we can't get a healthy spark getting through this distributor. See here too. Pretty, I mean, it's not the worst I've ever seen, that's for certain, but it's also not great. So if you have an older vehicle like this and it's trying to push spark through worn out points, worn out rotor, worn out distributor, all of that stuff adds resistance. It's accumulative, right? So you're just not going to get powerful spark, especially sounds like his battery's a little bit low. If you're starting off with a little bit of a low charge and you're trying to push spark through all these worn out bits, you're going to have that real hard start. I mean, you heard that thing. Sputtered a little bit, but you're just never going to get proper spark out of this. So we'll clean it up, but really the best answer for this specifically is to replace it. So let's get cracking. In a pinch, if you're on the side of the road and you just happen to have sandpaper with you, cool, use sandpaper, do whatever you got to do to get it running. However, I prefer, just me, I prefer not to use sandpaper, solely for the fact that sandpaper, all of that grit comes off, and then you're filling your distributor up with bits and bits of sandpaper stuff, and that's just never a good thing. So I prefer to use a solid file. Just got this little guy here, and man, you can see this thing is cooked. Look at that. Real not good. Less than great. So let's just get this. Oof, that's cooked. Let's get this filed up. See if we get some sparks coming through there. I think she'll fire right up. Real rough. And you notice when, so these are supposed to be flat on either side. And after a while, over time, um, there'll be a little bit of a material transfer between the two surfaces. And one will have a pit, and the other will have a little raised portion on it. Not ideal. Not ideal. That significantly reduces the amount of contact that the points are making. If the points aren't making the proper amount of contact, you can't transfer the proper amount of spark. Now, the upside to points over electronic ignition, there aren't a lot, but there is one. Jeez. Man, look at this. See what I mean? See how that's real pitted? Smacking the lip? Not good. Not good. Now, I don't have any points in Jesus. I don't have any points in stock. Jeez, these are bad. I don't have any points in stock, but we'll jump over to my buddy Lee's shop. He is the resident air-cooled guru, expert, SME, as they say, subject matter expert. Yeah, these are fucked. Technical term. He might have some in stock. I hope that he does, because if he doesn't, then we gotta order them, and it just takes time, more time than I want for it to take. I had a feeling that the points were going to look like this. When he brought the car over the other day, he had mentioned that it was hard starting and it wasn't really cold out. And I know he drives every once in a while, but especially if I know the vehicle has points in it, then somebody starts mentioning hard starting, that's kind of where my mind goes right away. Only because I ran points for so long and I was beating my head against a wall with hard start issues. It would take forever to warm up in the morning. Sometimes it just wouldn't start and it would kill the battery before I could get it to start. And I was chasing every problem except for the one that it was, because I didn't want to go away from points. Because I'm a purist in a lot of ways. And I didn't want other people to be right about it. So I resisted for a long time. But I'll tell you, switching over to electronic ignition has me reconsidering my ways. Not too tensely, though. It's all well and good cleaning this stuff up. Like I said, these are wear items. Cap, rotor, points. They're not designed to last a super long time. I mean, if you get 5,000 miles out of a set of points, and some people get way more, but that's the thing, is like I've had points that lasted me 10-15,000 miles, maybe more. I drove that bus across the country on a set of points. Did just fine, right up until it didn't. But I had made it by then, so not that big of a deal. Like I said, it's just once they start going bad and you start having to do stuff to them, they're just going to keep getting worse, worse, worse. And you're going to be going nuts because you're going to be like, I just took that thing apart and I just filed the points, I just adjusted them, all that stuff. None of it matters. None of it matters. Just replace it. Just replace it. This one's a little tough because it's black. My distributor cap is orange, which makes it a little easier to see when your spark is jumping off of the posts here. You'll get little carbon squigglies on the inside, and they're real easy to see on the orange ones. And once that starts happening, again, it's kind of scoured a path for the electricity to go that isn't through the posts. into your plug wires, and it'll just have a fucking party inside of your distributor cap, and then your car won't run, which is not what we want. It's a little tedious, but you want to make sure these things are clean. So if you're running points and you're having a hard time, check out your points. Make sure they're gapped too. That's always important. I know a lot of you are saying, Nick, I know that. That's stupid. Well, buddy, not everybody knows. Might sound stupid to you, but somebody else might go, damn, dude, I never thought of that. And then they know. And then they can feel more capable. Isn't that what we all want? Looking better, looking better. Let's move on to this thing here. This little doodad. Let's knock all this crud off here. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. And that's just the nature of these things. Just kind of the way that they are. Periodic maintenance, which people are not used to anymore. There's so much in modern cars that takes out the little nuances of doing periodic maintenance, so you feel like you don't have to. And you know what? Most of the time, you'd be right. These new cars, man, you don't have to touch ignition. You don't have to. I mean, a lot of these guys, you go 10, 15, 20,000 miles on a single oil change. No big deal. No big deal. I don't recommend it, but they're just different machines. Gotta be mindful about the old ones, which is kind of why I like them, you know? I like having that relationship with my cars. That's much better. You know, at one point in time, this would be all considered user level maintenance. This is what people did back in the day. It wasn't abnormal for just your average everyday automobile owner to be doing this kind of thing. But you just want to make sure the insides of these are nice and clean. Any gunk, goo, oil, debris, any of that stuff in here is less than ideal. That's true for most things. We're getting there. Now, I know I said earlier not to use sandpaper. Well, I said I don't prefer sandpaper. I want to clarify on that. What I mean is if you have to clean the points while they're still in the distributor, try not to use sandpaper. If you've got it all out, like I've got these, you can use a little sandpaper. It's fine. You're going to clean it anyway. So if you're using a little bit of sandpaper on the inside of here, you're going to be okay. So I just got some, this is very fine. I already hit it with the rough file here. So I'm just going to take this 2000 grit. I'm going to slide it in here. And I'm going to try my best to get the last little bit of stuff off of this thing. All right. Let's see about it here. Got my rotor, got my points. We're going to get this back together. Get this wire out of the way. Now all I got to do, turn this over. Luckily, this is a very low compression engine, so getting it turned over is pretty easy. Try and make a little bit of the adjustment, get it close, you know. Not gonna have it perfect right off the bat, but I'm gonna get it started. So what we're talking about here is this lobe. You can see there's 4 of them, one for each cylinder. You want this little bit of the points here makes contact with the lobe to be at its peak. And then you check your points gap here. Alright, so we'll get a little bit of pressure on the fastener here. You want it to be tight enough that it'll stay, but loose enough that you can adjust it. You know? You can see these little 2 dots right here. You can stick your screwdriver in between the 2 of them. And it'll give you the leverage point that you need. Find that little lip right there. You can separate that just so. And then it'll allow you to increase your points gap. This is our gauge here. Now, like I said, I like to take this off of the thing so that I don't have a bunch of weight behind it when I'm checking the gap, because you want to be able to feel just a slight amount of drag in the gap. And it's hard when there's a bunch of weight on it. You can't exactly feel what's going on. So try to have as little extra stuff going on with the points as possible. It's starting to go in there, but it's still real tight. So open it up some more. It's pretty wide. Should be way more than we need. Now, that little mound on there of material is going to throw this measurement off quite a bit. So we're going to get it as close as we can. It's getting there. It's going to be hard to tell exactly because, like I showed you earlier, there's quite a bit of material transfer between these points. So if you're gapping them when they're old like this, you gotta be mindful about that, because you might get a decent gap between where the high point is. Then it'll throw off the whole thing. So we're gonna have to use a mix of our eyeballs and the gauge to get it close so that it'll work. It's not going to be perfect today. Not until we replace them. I think that's going to be about as close as we're going to get it for today. So another thing you want to be careful about when you're tightening this down, occasionally you can throw off your adjustment. So make sure you double check when it's done It's a little tight, but I think we're gonna run that. I think it'll run. Make sure it's snug on there. That looks pretty good. It's a little wet in there. It's not ideal. It's okay. Now, as you can see, that little tab on the front there lines up with this. I'll just drop in just so. And then you'll notice as well, there's a little tab on the inside of the rotor here, or sorry, the cap here. And just over there is a little cutout. So luckily, this thing's only go on one way. So just like that. Another small note. This is probably Volkswagen specific. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but I'm sure somebody else does it. This little notch on your distributor is your number one indicator, and you can use that for timing purposes, amongst other things. But what that also does is, as you can see, as this cap goes on, this is your number one. So while you're putting this back together, snap that bad boy on. Snap that bad boy on. You can find your number one plug, which is our top right cylinder as we're looking at the engine. Find your number one, which is this one. One. And firing order should be 1, 4, 3, 2. This is our number 4. Number 3. And number 2. Another quick note I noticed up here. Boys, vacuum advance. That's not good either. So we'll cut them up a little slice of vacuum line. We'll slide it on right there. So we went and cut them up some new vacuum line. Should treat them a little bit better. Make sure that looks clear. That looks all right. Okay. All right. Let's see about it. All right, let's see about it. So that may seem like it was really, really awesome. I forgot to run the video. It took a little bit. It sputtered just a little bit, but cleaning up the points, regapping them, that worked, thankfully. Now, I still want to replace those points. They were not looking good. They are going to fail again, and very soon. So let's take this thing for a test drive. We're gonna jam over to my buddy's shop. We'll see if he's got points for this in stock. All right. Okay. Parking brake's gotta come off. There we go. Pushball's okay. A little bit of slap in the steering. To be expected. She sounds fairly healthy. There's a very distinct whistling noise that the Volkswagens do when the valves are out of adjustment. It's easy to miss if you don't know what you're listening for, but when you're powering through, you can hear like a kind of noise. Waiting for it to warm up for it to really tell me everything that it needs to tell me. I'm getting a little bit of sputtering. But like I said, with those points, that's kind of to be expected. So hopefully she'll want to drive long enough. Whoop, lost the camera there. Okay. Lost the camera there for a moment. It's okay. Clutch wants to release a little bit too close to the floor. It's still, it's okay, but it's really not where I like it to be. There's a little bit of travel in the steering. Feels like she could use an alignment. There's a little bit of wobble up there too. I'm gonna check those ball joints, tie rods. Could be a little bit of slap in the steering box, but maybe not. That being said, those drive pretty alright. Take up some space in his driveway here. All right. Break off. Now we're over here at Lee's. That's Lee. That's Lee's bus. So we're gonna poke around, see if he's got a pair of points in stock for me. Fix a couple other things while we're at it. We just noticed that the hood latch isn't hood latching very well. I'm gonna straighten that out. Go take a look ski at a Gia over here.
hot on that side.
Mm-hmm.
And
Valve send a little bit
still
of
hot.
adjustment on this one?
Nah. Just something about the manifold, and they cut probably the humidity out today.
Oh, okay.
Manifold's hot though.
Hmm.
Because what it is on the mufflers, any headers suck. The two tubes that go to this, I'll show you on the muffler. This is high pressure directly to the manifold.
Okay.
This one's low pressure, so it wraps around here.
All right.
So high pressure pushes it this way.
Okay.
Some of them are backwards, but this is a low pressure one, so it's always draw there, but pressure here.
And with the header that they put on it, doesn't have that?
Headers, yeah. It might have the heat pieces, but you don't. Both of them are pressure.
Mm.
So it might conduct it.
Okay.
But it ain't flowing.
Interesting.
Some exhaust, some rare. Here's your two pipes. Here's two flanges. One will have a scoop. One will be just open. So hopefully that's the draw side, and this side is shoving up. But most of the time when they're clogged, well, manifolds, wherever the hell manifold is, clogged.
Here we go. Let's see how she runs, bud. Thanks again, brother.
You already got the real chalk.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, stay to the left. Yeah.
All right, so we just left Lee's. Unfortunately, my phone died while I was in there. So I didn't get to shoot everything, but we got lucky. He had a set of points in stock. So we threw those in, gapped them, double checked everything, made sure it was clean, and we also double checked the timing. Everything looked pretty good. Started up a lot easier, and yeah, much better on the power delivery. Spicy on the brakes. All right.